Oh, yeah, so I was gonna say, how did you kind of rectify that situation? Because I know you said you guys end up selling it, so were you able to, I guess, get back into your original position, or how did that all work out in the end with that particular company?
Yeah, so I brought on one partner at that point, and he was able to basically buy everybody else out. So then it was just him and I back in the driver's seat. He wanted his name on the door too, so I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Um, so we changed the brand a little bit. So it went from, I think it was like the Joslin Consulting Group, and then it went over to Joslin Jones, which became a holding company at that point. He liked the idea I had of you have a consulting arm for a couple projects a year, you have real estate and management, you have startup seed money. As a non-accredited investor at the time, I think you have to have like assets worth 1 million or something like that to be
okay.
accredited according to the I group to the SEC. Yeah. And so we didn't have that, but you can justify that if you have business acumen or you can make those decisions, you can still invest in a startup as long as it's part of a friendly round and it's not a public offering. And so we were doing that. There was a couple startups we liked. We wanted to incubate. I was like, I can consult with these companies for equity, or we can give them a little bit of seed money and we can consult with them and then just ride the wave. We can sign convertible notes at a period of 12 to 24 months and make our money back. So, I mean, we really started scaling that way. And then he retired and I turned it over into Joslin, which we formed in June of 2022. So we rolled over all the IP, all the assets that were worth keeping. Brought on my former banker. He's a VP of a bank and he wanted to get into it. So, yeah, we're working on some big deals now. So it's amazing. You grow up as a simple hick from Twin Lake and now you're,
Yeah.
hanging out and whining and dining, looking at multi-million-dollar real estate deals, and people are flying you all over the country to consult on things. It's kind of fun, it's like sheep in the big city.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like that sounds like a lot of fun, and that you're doing some big things. So it seems like the Jocelyn, the consulting group, just kind of morphed into what it is today.
Mhm. Yeah, it happened
Okay.
pretty organically too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it seems like you were doing consulting. Now you have a consulting arm, but it's much more than like a consulting a company. It seems like you have real estate and uh some other branches of the company. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the beauty is in a recessed economy, one of the only good things that happens as you're experiencing mass layoffs and
Yep.
economic conditions change. Those are things that are outside of your ability to control. That's part of that external environment. What ends up happening is people get the itch for entrepreneurship. Which provides guys like me the opportunity to give people guidance. Before you allocate your two scarcest resources as time, you can't make more of it and you can't make less of it, but you can definitely
Yep.
waste it. And then money, right? That's something that's really hard to do, especially when inflation's rising and wages are remaining stagnant. Money becomes a much scarcer commodity. And those are the two things that are required for entrepreneurship. And when people are about to sit down and spend money, I deal with a lot of people who are like, oh, I mortgaged my home and I put a bunch of stuff on a credit card, but my business isn't doing well. Can you help me? And I'm like, oof, no, it's too late for you. It's like that movie Armageddon, where the
Yeah.
astronaut's about to cross that zero barrier. It's like, well, even if Bruce Willis blows that bad boy up now, you're still going to lose Texas. And
Yeah.
so for us, it's about trying to find these people early on, and it's the same work with the Michigan Center for Economic Innovation. We're really working with people that don't have either the business acumen, the educational piece, or even just access to resources. We can provide that for them before you go out and take money or take bad loans or take investors' money. As a guy who's been burned a couple times, by bringing on investors, everybody wants to have an idea, and if they're signing a check, they get to have a say. So, keeping entrepreneurs away from the sharks is a big goal that we have. But even with Jospon, we're finding pre-revenue startups. I don't know how familiar you are with those, but really they're still in the idea phase and they haven't
Yep.
quite gotten to commercialization or product launch. So if you can find them there, that's the sweet spot where they're riding that innovation curve, right? They might be an early adopter. Almost nobody's developing breakthrough innovations. When I say breakthrough innovation, I'm like, think like the printing press or, the invention of mathematics. Yeah.
Or the iPhone
People
or
are like, well,
something
Steve
like that.
Jobs was a breakthrough innovator. And I'm like, I don't think the iPhone really, had the same impact as written language, but
Yeah.
yeah, I could
Yeah.
be wrong. You
Right.
could
Right.
argue.